Hi guys, today I'm making white okra soup. I personally don't eat this with rice or fufu or any other thing people would probably eat it with. I make it just to eat it by itself. So I need the okra, that's the fresh one, I've been good today, and I need Scotch bonnet peppers. This is locust beans, it's the fresh one that's been ground and then put in the freezer, and salt, that's plum tomatoes in the bottom, and that's smoked kipper fillets. Then I need fresh spinach, and that's the chicken I'm using, that's just normal chicken, and some prawns. The kippers, I usually prefer the one in the fish counter which has the head and the skin, but it's okay with this one, no problem. So I've done some prepping and I've done the chicken. Now with the chicken, I take off the skin and any excess fat that I see. The wing area still has the skin. I don't bother with it because I'm using just the one chicken and it's just two wings. Now usually when I make this dish, the confession is I always go for organic chicken. In fact, yesterday I went shopping and I saw organic chicken and I was kicking myself. I couldn't buy it because I have so much chicken at home in the fridge and the freezer. You can see a whole bowl of that because I'm cooking something else. Anyway, so this is normal chicken. So I take off the skin and any excess fat, as I've said. And with the prawns, again, another thing, I always use 2 packs, but I use the other one to make prawn sandwich. It doesn't bother me anyway. So I've done the okra. I just wanted to say something about the okra. If you're someone who likes really slimy okra, whether it's the red soup or the white, you know the heads, when you take it off, don't put it in the bin. Keep them separate and then you would blend them separately. So first, put it in the blender as it is, blend it, and then add water later on. That's just to help you get it out of the blender. Otherwise, it's too gooey to come out. And this okra that you see, I'm not using it. That's because it's the twiggy one. So a knife cannot go through it easily. Don't use those ones. And also for the okra, the ones with the heads, when you're using them, if you get these bits right at the top of the head, of course, cut them off. Just make sure the head is almost as fresh as the okra itself. Okay, and can you believe I have 100 fingers? Well, I had 101, but that one didn't come out good. So I love chili, and I have about 11 there. And this is the locust beans that you had seen earlier. So I don't know if you can see the amount. Of course, it's to your taste. So I'm using that much. And okay, now with the fish, the kippers, I probably won't use all of them. I'll probably use 3. There's 2 fillets in each. It's a bit too much considering the amount that I'm making. I'll just see how it goes. It doesn't matter if there's too much. Now, one thing I didn't show you earlier on was the onion. You need onion, but a minuscule amount. We'll use about 1/3 of this. Okay, I think, oh, the other thing is, now, white okra, which is Supa-bu-weh in Gambia, is actually never cooked with chicken or meat or anything. They cook it with prawns and crab. It always has crab, and I don't mean the crab meat, I mean the actual everything of the crab. The very first one I ever ate, I was a teenager, and my auntie had made it, and she happens to be one of those really posh aunts, so she obviously had the best of all seafoods. Yeah, well, the best of crabs and prawns, and it was really yummy. And the second time I had it again was from a different auntie, and again she made the same thing. Her one was a bit basic that second time, and again no smoked fish and no chicken, but this is how I make mine. I am not a fan of crab. I have a dish called ebe, and I was almost apologizing because people are so used to putting crab and this and that and everything in it. It's just not me. I do like crab, but to be fair, I think I like the meat more than the crab itself. It just daunts me to have to sit there and do this and that with the bone and all of this. But I do like it. And also, I had a few bad experiences with crab that I've gotten when I buy the boxes, obviously because they're cheaper. I would always get a tummy ache, and yeah, my mind just doesn't come to it when it comes to this. I'd much prefer not having crab. If I did at home, just laying around, I probably would put it in there, but I don't want to come out and make you a fake okra, white okra soup, something that I usually don't make. So in this instance, this is exactly how I do it all the time. As I've said, usually I go to the fish counter for the kippers. I really, really like those ones because they're smoked really, really well. They have the head and everything. I just use my kitchen scissors and I cut them into how I like. I usually don't get this, to be fair. I can't remember even when I last got this. And we're taking the butter out, throwing that away and just using it as it is. I've already said I always go for organic chicken. 2 reasons. It's a lot more tastier and it's just a bit tougher. So it's in between a broiler chicken and a normal chicken. But there's nothing wrong with this. I do it with this, but hardly ever really. And again with the prawns, I'll go for 2, so just make it nicer. Okay, so we get started, and as usual, I'm going to just put this in water and take all that gunk out, then we start. You don't have to do that at all. You can completely skip that step. So that's just the pot full of water. We'll be cooking in this pot. I'll just put the cooker on. And yeah, so just put the chicken in the water. And you just want to add some salt. Now, not for seasoning purposes, more for, I don't know, bacteria and just keeping the chicken solid because it does toughen meat. So we are done with the chicken, and in the 12 minutes I had just been sort of mixing it just to let the hot water underneath come on top. And that's it. That's all you want it to do. So the chicken isn't cooked, but this is what I wanted. So I'm going to take it off now and you'll see. And in the meantime, I had been just using the kitchen scissors to cut the kippers. And that's just the one. And I'm going to prep the okra as well and the the peppers. We're going to be blending this. I've done the onions. You can go ahead and add this to the blender, or you don't have to because I've really diced it finely. Okay, so I stopped at 9 peppers. I still 10, no, I can't count. 8, 9, 10, 11. So there's 8, and that's the locust beans and the onions. Oh, sorry, and then there's the tomato, plum tomato. So it's about a tablespoon that I've put in there. Basically around the same amount of onion, and now we just go to the blender. So just scrape the sides down and carry on. Okay, so we've reset, and I have some water here. Now with the water, less is more. Why? Because you don't want to put too much and later you just have this soup, although you are cooking soup, but you just must be careful because you can add, and this is a dish that's cooked very quickly because again with the okra, I personally don't cook my okra till it's brown, so I don't really know how much water I've got here. Maybe 500 milliliters. Okay, so I've got the blended things. You want to put that in. And I've also got the chicken that we did earlier. You put that in. Okay, so don't worry about putting water here to rinse it because we're going to blend the okra. I would advise you to blend it because it just helps with it giving that slime thing. If you don't like it, then don't do so. I'm not saying if you cut it, you're not going to get the slime. You probably will. So, okay. 2 minutes. Okay, so add the salt. You can just keep that on the side in case you need some later. It's also on high heat. Keep it on high heat until we put in the okra. And the okra is here. As you can see, I've cut it just so it fits my blender well and everything blends equally. Now, can you see the cuts that I have? This is what I personally want. I don't want it to be too smooth, and I don't want it to be in chunks as well. That's the second batch. So this is cooking. It's at 9 minutes. That's what I've blended so far. You can see the blender doesn't have any slime. It's all coming out very easy. That's the final batch. It's at 12 minutes and I'm going to put in the okra now. As soon as you put the okra in, you want to turn your heat down. So my highest is 6, where it's been all this time. I'm turning it down to 2. And I'm just going to mix that through. Do not taste this at this point because okra is also very well known to give you a tummy ache when it's not cooked. Okay, so I've mixed it. And this is what I have. Okay, some people are just puking right about now when they see me do that. And remember what I was telling you earlier about the heads? If you want it to be even more slimy than this, we really should find a name for this because it's not nice saying slimy, is it? Or I should find a name for it. Also, I am happy with this. I could have put more water if that's what you prefer. I really don't because I just want more of the chicken and the stuff rather than this. So this is fine for me. So I'm going to show you about the heads and I will do it just for today. Okay, so this is your blender. Now if you don't want to do this part, you could have just added some water here and pulse blend it. That's just going to help you take out that okra that you have that's so difficult to come out. So we put in the heads and then you add, then you just blend it like that first. Now with this part, you want to blend it as smooth as you can get it. Now can you see what happened there? It blended until it was stiff. There was nowhere for it to go. You can push it down and blend again until that happens, or you can just go ahead right now and put some water in. So this is what you had. As I've said, just keep on blending it as much as you can. So it's a little foamy, as you can see. This is at 20. Hope my blade doesn't fall in. And you just pop that in now. It comes right out. So we are at 23 minutes and we have the 3 more ingredients to go and the spinach. If I had that smoked kipper I was mentioning from the fish counter, I would have put the heads and the tails in, say even before I put in the okra. That just gives it good flavor. But for the meaty part, I'm going to put that in now. Not the prawns though. So I have about 10 cuts. By the way, I only used the one, what's it called? The one packet. I mean, I can always tell right now if I want more, but I think I'm fine today. Now usually when I cook this, I don't do that head thing, but because I do have a video on Supa and I wanted to just show people that if I don't buy the frozen okra, this is what I would usually do for that other Supa with the palm oil. It doesn't bother me, the slime, anyway. I really like Supa. I think, to be fair, Supa with palm oil is my favorite Gambian dish. Okay, now the other thing I must mention to you is the spinach that I'll be putting in here. And I would believe the locust beans. The spinach definitely doesn't go in white Supa. That's the traditional one. They don't put it there at all. We don't put spinach in any Supa in Gambia. It's the other molokhia I had shown you the other time. So this is just my version. I put spinach, and I only go for the spinach. I have a video called Plazas, and you'd see me use the cut frozen one. I wouldn't use that here because it's just too messy. I like the way this turns out. I don't cut it. I do nothing. I open the bag and I put it in here. The bag, it's already washed, by the way, so don't worry. And for the locust beans, they don't put it there because, as I've said, this is cooked with crab, a lot of crab and prawns. And they have a lot of flavor. The locust beans isn't necessary, again, because it's something that you just eat by itself. So I don't think that's necessary, but I like it. I put it there. And for the prawns, when I cook this, I always put raw prawns. I'd never add cooked one because I just don't. I think the raw prawns add more flavor than the cooked one. Well, obviously. It's at 30 minutes, and I've just tasted it now, and I want more salt. So at this point, add salt. And we can, oh, let me mix that, then I add the prawns. So I've added the prawns. Now that I've added the prawns and mixed it through, I'll just pop the spinach right at the top. All of it. This is a 200-gram bag. I'll just leave that there for a couple of minutes. So I'm just going to mix it now. See, even before I've mixed it, by the way, this is how I mix it. I just do this. You can see the prawn. And as soon as I've done that, I'll be switching it off. It's at 36. So let's just leave the 6 to go by. My superstition. And, or just when it starts to bubble, switch it off. Please, please don't overcook the spinach. The heat will carry on cooking it. So in 5 minutes, you can approach and dish out. And mix it through so the top bits can also just wilt as much as the ones underneath. So it's done, and I'm going to dish out now. Here it is, all done. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good weekend. Bye.